If you're watching this video, it means you worked really hard, you built something incredible, and now you're starting to think about the next generation. Here's the big question we hear all the time from families like yours. How do I pass on wealth without ruining my kids and making them entitled? Because that's the last thing you want. You don't want your success to become your child's burden, or worse, even a barrier to growth. Today, we're going to dive into how to prepare heirs for wealth with responsibility, clarity, and purpose. 1, the risk of an unprepared inheritance. Let's start with the risk, because it's real. Inheriting wealth too early or without proper guidance is kind of like handing someone the keys to a car without ever teaching them how to drive. At its best, it's kind of inefficient, possibly a little funny. At its worst, though, it can be really dangerous and completely destructive. Studies show that wealth passed down without preparation can lead to poor decision-making, dependency, and a loss of direction. And here's the hardest part about it. It's not their fault. If we don't prepare them, they can't be expected to manage it well. And yet, too many families treat it like a surprise ending instead of a long journey that they're prepared for. This shouldn't be something that gets thrown at you when mom and dad die. We've been doing this long enough to see a lot of different strategies, families, different case studies. A lot of times people like to gift their family money. For example, pay off all the kids' mortgages. Unfortunately, this often has the reverse effect. If you, for instance, pay off a young person's mortgage, it's not that hard for them to scrape up enough money just to have food and basic necessities. The housing is taken out of the equation. It often kills their drive. And, the drive that led you to be so successful is something you just squashed early on in your kids. This is one example just of thinking out, hey, what am I trying to build and engender in my kids? Is it strong work ethic or is it laziness and idleness? You don't want to hamper their growth by giving them too much too early. Often giving should be tied to benchmarks of when they have already achieved, of when they have started a family, built a business, done things on their own. Number 2, start early. Build responsibility and not entitlement. The best time to start is right now. You can start small, give each of your kids roles and real financial decisions. Think about areas like this: family giving. Where should we donate this year as a family? Budgeting for a family vacation. How do we balance enjoyment and cost? Help with investment decisions or tracking spending. Responsibility is built through ownership. When children participate in decisions, they learn the why and not just the how. You can also tap into structured financial education. There's so many resources out there, whether it be technology, coaches, programs. Don't wait until your kids are older to start teaching them. They need to learn how money works at a very early age. Number 3, reframe wealth. One of the most powerful things you can teach heirs is that wealth is a tool, not a trophy. It's not something you sit on, you show off, or you use to escape hard things. It's something you work with to create, to build, to solve problems. If left unguided, wealth can lead to confusion, paralysis, even shame. But when it's framed around purpose and stewardship, then it becomes empowering. Try asking your children, what do you think our wealth is for? Not in like a testy way, but just as a conversation starter. You might be surprised at what they say. This kind of dialogue helps link wealth to meaning, and not just money. Number 4, stage the access. Just because a trust says someone can access money at 25 doesn't mean they're ready at 25. In fact, I'd probably recommend you pushing it to a later date than that. Instead, think of phases tied to maturity, accomplishment, education, things tied to your family values. You can create structures that award initiative. For example, you could start a match program for entrepreneurial adventures. Mom and dad help start the business based on what you put in. You could have incentives tied to philanthropy or service work. You could say you don't get X, Y, and Z until you hit this level of education or this amount of time in your career. And these aren't about control. This is about helping your heirs become capable stewards and not passive recipients. And remember, your wealth isn't just money. It's opportunity, network, wisdom, values. Access to these should also be earned and nurtured. So here's what it comes down to. You don't want your children just to receive wealth. You want them to handle it with confidence, purpose, and grace. And that starts long before money ever shows up. When you treat wealth like a lifelong conversation and not just a lump sum, then you build something far more powerful than inheritance. You build legacy. If this spoke to you, go ahead and subscribe. We're building a library of real life strategies for families that want their wealth to bring meaning and not entitlement. You've built the success. Now let's build the legacy to match. Thanks for watching.